This is probably not it's probably, it is the last scheduled press briefing for 2016. So this press briefing has an aura that I think requires us taking stock of 2016 and looking forward for the activities in 2017. 2016, as you're well aware, was dominated with the engineering of the occupation of the new government building. I think first and foremost stands out in my mind that iconic picture that was taken of the members and directors of SZV, of APS, and the Minister of Finance when they arrived at that agreement as to how we were going to restructure the debts and make certain that the new government building could get going. And I'm proud that we all today could be in the new government building, having this press briefing, whilst a year ago it looked like it would take another 2 years after 8 years of housing pigeons. So we have a lot to be thankful for as far as that is concerned. Of course, 2016, the entire steps that were taken to make certain that the budget remained on track for 2016 was quite a challenge. And you can recall the shenanigans we had with the then board of the GEB to be able to access funds that were in their bank accounts, sitting there for many years, whilst we were struggling to get our budget in order. Looking back, we can be thankful also that that eventually worked out, and that the 2016 budget, St. Martin will have a budget as it looks now that is going to be balanced, thanks to those steps that we took earlier this year. All in all, I think 2016 has been a year of building, laying the groundwork for future years. I think we could be thankful that the steps we have taken in that regard look promising. We have paid off, virtually paid off, 2/3 of the debts that St. Martin had, which amounted to over 200 million guilders, and which was like an anchor around everybody's neck. That now is now under control, and it bids well for the future. Bids well in terms of the building blocks that we're putting in place to make certain that we have a sound foundation to build on for future generations. 2017, I think, is going to be dominated actively with tax reform. The tax system we have no longer lives up to the requirements of the time, and it has to be revamped. And all efforts are being put into it to make certain that that tax reform is realized this year, as well as some ideas that we have to generate structural income going forward. Because the structural income which we have right now does not support the expenditures of government, and we rely very heavily on incidental income. Incidental income, income that are windfalls that you don't get every year. And you cannot build a solid foundation based on incidental income. So structural income will also dominate 2017 to get the necessary legislation in place so that going forward in multiple years, we have income that we can count on to be able to cover government's desk. I want to take this opportunity to thank the members of the press for all of the questions they posed this year. It has been, I would say, fruitful, meaningful. The questions that were posed, your job is to make certain that you keep government on its toes, and in the interest of democracy, make certain that you get the information out to the people who should have that information with the basis of transparency that should always be there. So I want to thank the press for their work this year. Looking forward to working with you the next coming year, and hope that we will always have one thing in mind: build democracy, build St. Martin. Thank you very much.
This morning, I would like to remind the general public that as 2017 approaches, that the 12th Annual National Day of Prayer will be held this Sunday. Not this Sunday, sorry. Sunday, January 8th, next Sunday. This Sunday being, of course, New Year's Day. In front of the new government administration building, under the theme, Lord, give us vision that we may prosper. The ecumenical service will begin at 4:30 p.m. with praise and worship by one of St. Martin's most outstanding worship teams and band. Just like our Thanksgiving service last month or earlier this month, which was so well attended, I look forward to the general public seeing this as a moment to come together, to give thanks also, but to pray for our nation as we move forward in 2017. This is our 12th annual National Day of Prayer. These services are usually done in conjunction with the Council of Churches, the SMUMF, and the Culture Department, and we have continued to look forward to their cooperation in us getting these celebrations underway. We're very happy to be able to also host it here at the building this year, and it's always celebrated on the second Sunday in January every year. So we encourage all to come out, bring your friends and family as we pray for the nation and get the year off started in the right footing. I would like to also take this opportunity to say thank you to the general public, the media, the ministries of education, as well as my colleagues and their ministries for the cooperation and collaboration throughout 2016, and I look forward to 2017 even being an even stronger collaboration as we work together on a collective program. During this last week of the year, many are celebrating still. It's a blessed season. They've just had their wonderful Christmas and Boxing Day celebrations, whether within their families or organizations. And I have noticed a sense of togetherness, a sense of working within the community that is very commendable. I would like to encourage all, as 2016 comes to an end, to focus on safety. I know that the fireworks have started to be sold. I've heard some of them already. Please employ safety. The fire department usually puts out how and when you should and shouldn't. Children should not be left unattended with fireworks, as this can be a very sad season then if they are allowed to, do fireworks on their own. So parents, I ask you to be very vigilant with your children, and any of those buying those fireworks for children to be very careful. Throughout this year, I've noticed increased awareness within the community, with many service groups coming to bat for the community. So I would like to commend all the service level groups, as well as the business community and concerned citizens who have, in some way or another, given back to the community, given back to the most vulnerable and needy here on the island, not during this time only, but also through the year. As 2017 approaches, I would like as we make our New Year's resolutions and take decisions on our new ways of doing things for this year, that we as a citizen, each citizen here on this island, puts forward that this country becomes a more give back. I've seen it in small sections and groups, and it's always around special occasions. But foster homes, the needy, the elderly, they need attention throughout the year. And so I pray that the community continues with the awareness that we have, but that we do it not just on special occasions. I expect this year to be a year of awareness and action towards the better quality of life for not just the children, but the elderly, the homeless, the jobless, and that we find ways to help them to the next level, not continue to just give and give and give, but to build them up that they can help themselves. So thank you once again to the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports, all the departments that are working so hard to realize our vision for the ministry. I would like to wish all the young people who are still home on vacation a safe and happy holidays. And as you prepare for 2017, remember that without you doing your very best, St. Martin would have no future. And that might be cliche, but it is the truth. And we have to do all we can as citizens and the community to promote that. Thank you so much.
I just want to take this opportunity again and always thank my colleagues and also the staff at the ministry, because it has been a pretty tasking week, if I should put it in those terms. But getting right into it, I want to move on to where we left off last week about the garbage situation. Christmas Eve, I received a message from the Prime Minister, and he said it's unacceptable and this problem needs to be solved right away. I took him up on his word and I said, I'm going to deal with it and I'm going to make sure that it gets done. It wasn't an easy job to do because of the timing. You had to round up individuals and find them wherever they are who want to work on Christmas Eve, who don't want to work at Christmas Eve. But the situation, to use the Prime Minister's words, was really unacceptable. And we took the task and we went through St. Peter's, we went through South Reward, we went through Retreat Estate. The guys in them work on Christmas Eve, they rest on this Christmas, and the Monday, which was yesterday, they were still in the areas cleaning up. But I want to say this to the general public. I noticed a lot of mattresses, a lot of washing machine, old stoves, fridges. Those things cannot fit in a car, which means you probably had a pickup or a truck. But if you have a pickup and a truck with those things in it, don't drop it on the side of the road, take it to the dump. You don't have to pay anything to enter the dump. And then it is sad that when the area is clean and then the next day we see another set of washing machines and mattresses and stuff like that. So of course this situation have to change. It cannot continue like this. And I can tell you we have been working very hard and diligently on finding a solution to deal with this problem, because it seems to be getting more and more out of hand and it's a growing situation. But what I'm asking the general public is, bear with us and have some consideration when you see that work is going on in the area and you see the area is clean. Don't just drop the fridge and the old air condition. I mean, if you're remodeling and you take the tiles off of your bathroom, don't drop them on the side of the road. Take it to the dump. You don't have to pay anything to get to the dump. And when you look into the situation, it is clear that something along with the way or the management is not working. So up to yesterday, we started to issue some fines to some of the haulers, some of the contractors who are responsible for collecting garbage, because in my opinion, it's unacceptable when you have any minister or any citizen, but moreover, the Prime Minister of the country, and right in front of his house, it looks like a dump. That's totally unacceptable, and it should not happen. And I am saying that you have to take, like I mentioned, the harsh decisions. And that is what is being done. We wrote some letters yesterday, some fines will be going out, and it's what it is, because the situation is one where contracts was issued, it was awarded to individuals to do a job that you claim and you say that you can do for the price, for the bid that was awarded to you. And it's not being done. And I was told on many occasions that warnings was issued, and still it remains the same. So we are looking into this issue and we are dealing with it right away. In addition to that, we seem to have a serious issue with car wrecks. But not only car wrecks, but derelict cars on the side of the road and on the main road that is in the area. Most of the roads have turned into one-way streets because people just have cars on the road without a number plate, without a wheel, without a bumper up on blocks on the road. It's unacceptable. So very, very soon, a sticker will be placed on those cars and cars will be removed. You will be given the opportunity to remove your car, put it in the yard, get it off of the road. But these things cannot continue to happen. It cannot continue to happen. And it's in a number of areas. We have also seen where people have just simply turned the street into a garage, turned their district into a garage, whether they have a hindrance permit or any kind of permit, but that is just what they have decided to do. And that again too, we will be looking into. I had the professionals down at the VRUMI department yesterday, and we were going over a lot of these scenarios, looking at the possibilities, looking at the law, looking at the right way, how we are going to tackle these issues. And it simply cannot be talk. We have to put action behind it. So you will be seeing the bulletins coming out. You'll be seeing it in the newspapers. You'll be seeing it in the government page that, you have a certain amount of time to remove your property from the road. I drove through Cahill. I drove through Dutch Quarter. I went through St. Peter, South Reward, and it's unacceptable, St. Martin. We cannot continue to treat our country this way. Also, I had a brief discussion with the Minister of Finance, and I told him that we need to talk, and he said, well, right after the press briefing, we would have this discussion. Because again, we cannot have our citizens living in the condition that they are living, and I'm talking about down in the Simpson Bay area, the atrium, the water that settles right on the road. And it's also a tourist area where we have a number of hotels, and we also have residents living in that area. And I was down there, and we was looking at it, and to put it in these words, it's disgusting. This is a problem that needs to be solved, and it needs to be solved right away. I can tell you that plans are being drawn up right now as we speak, because what happens is that you have a trench on one side of the road, but it's not level. So the trench is this high and the road is this high. So the water just settles on one side. So they are looking into it in possibilities of possibly raising the road or putting a trench under the road with a grill. So that different opinions they are coming up with. And also the Windward Island Bank, the pharmacy in Simpson Bay, the alley where it has the cemetery right on the inside. It's like a next beach. The water is just unacceptable. So that too we'll be looking into. I spoke to the businesses on the opposite side of the road, and they are more than willing for government to take their time, use their property, run the pipes, run the trench, dig the road, and use the land that they have available, because it's affecting them also. Again, it's the same situation. The road is one high and that part of the road is low, so the water just settles right there, and it takes a long time for it to be removed. And then when cars pass on it, it goes down on the other side into the property and the business of the owner. So they was very happy to hear us, invite us to have a discussion on how we plan to tackle this situation. And also on the L.B. Scott Road passing Cake House going up into the St. Peter South Reward area, I noticed a lot of people call me and ask, Chris, why is this road wet? But this morning, if you notice, there was the guys out cleaning and digging the trench, because what happened again, it was blocked up. So the water couldn't be filtered into the trench, and all the water run in the road. But looking at the situation again, and I said, what happens is that the grill that they have is small. It's very, very small. And when the rocks, and this is another thing, we have to look into the matter of if not paving or grading some of those dirt roads, because the dirt roads compromises the main roads. When it rains and all the rocks and the gravel and the sand and the dirt come down, it blocks up the trenches. And when the trenches are blocked, then no water gets in, and then you have the water on the road, and consequently of that, the road get damaged, because then you get the potholes and all, et cetera, et cetera. So those are sort of the things that we are looking into. I also receive some calls from residents in the town area, and justifiably they are very correct with their concern. And again, this is a discussion that we'll have to take up in the Council of Ministers meeting with my other colleagues, because it also involved the Minister of Justice, the Minister of VSA, as much as I'm holding that portfolio now also. How are we going to tackle the situation with stray dogs on the beach and the dog defecating feces, the smell of it? I mean, we have one product, and that only product is tourism. It is a disaster. It is a nasty situation, the number of stray dogs on the beach in Phillipsburg. It simply cannot continue this way. And I'm saying that you either put your dog on a leash or they will be rounded up, because it's out of hand. The beach smells bad and it looks nasty. And it's something that definitely need to be, there's no other way to mince my words or say it as it is. That's what it is. I walk through town with the residents, we walked on the beach, we look at the situation, and it's unacceptable. So those are some of the things that we at the ministry, we are looking into seriously, and we are going to tackle in the upcoming new year, very quickly, very swift. So, prepare yourself for a lot of changes, especially in the area of garbage. It's an alarming situation, and some serious decisions have to be made about it. But again, you don't want to preach doom and gloom, because that's not what it is. But the facts are there, and it is clear. Everyone is seeing it, everyone is living it. But I know that the residents in South Ward and St. Peter's and Retreat, they are pleased. I receive a lot of calls saying, Chris, thank you. And again, we will continue with what we are doing, but again, we need to look into the situation. I want to thank everyone, and again, everyone, the New Year's will be coming up. Have fun, be safe, take care of yourself, and enjoy. Thank you very much.
I didn't have any statement to make, but I wanted to make use of this opportunity to thank the members of the media, those of you who have been faithfully attending our Wednesday press briefings. I was a bit worried last week when we held our first press briefing in our new location. I said probably it's because they understood there were no desks and tables where they can sit relaxed and do their work. I said, I hope that's not a reason. They could have just said, understood you didn't place a table there yet. But Mr. Peterson made some calls, and we found out that it was just a matter of circumstances, that the three main players who are here every week got caught up, one with illness, one in traffic, one with some other issues at that covering news at the courthouse. So we understand, and we welcome you today, and hope that we can continue to count on your support throughout 2017, like was the case in 2016. Personally, I've made it a promise to the workers at DECOM, Rodney and Cedric and the others. I told them, don't even bother to send me a message on Tuesday to find out whether we are having press briefing on Wednesday. We have to make it a point to be there on Wednesday. And even if you have no statement to make, the media will most likely have questions, and therefore it is our responsibility to answer the questions or to share information. I cannot imagine that a whole week would go by and nothing worth talking about, had taken place in and around government. The issue most of the time is that sometimes you may not have the information readily at hand on Wednesday morning, but there is always something to talk about. I want to therefore welcome you to our new home of our weekly press briefing. It is a temporary location in terms of its setup. When all completed, you will have, like you've had before, somewhere where you can put your pad, you can put your laptop, you can put whatever it is you use to work with, to work at ease, because we consider this at least an hour of work for you as well. I want to, again, publicly thank and commend the new Minister of Romi. Last week, when I introduced him, I said I was saving him for last. He was the Benjamin. He was the youngest on the team, the newcomer on the team. And I also sort of issued a challenge in the sense that I've done it privately off camera, and I've done it on camera. I've said, it's a difference going on radio on Tuesdays to talk about things that happen, and you now have a responsibility to make sure they happen. And yes, when I sent him the message with some photos on Christmas Eve, it was not to put necessarily fire under his feet, but it was to point out to him that this was really unacceptable. Not that he bore responsibility, but in the sense that he should not be accepting this from the contractors. On the other hand, I fully agree with him as well, and we've had this discussion. There is information that needs to meet the public in some shape, form, or fashion, and we hope that this medium would contribute to it. It is unacceptable, not now blaming the contractor, but because you pay such keen attention to it. At some point in time, I thought it was a deliberate boycott of the new contractors, that people would go somewhere and haul old equipment out to put on the road. And if it is, then it continues. Because I can tell you, I drive the main road coming down L.B. Scott Road every day. And they would remove 4 or 5 mattresses and 2 fridges and 2 stoves and a couple of pieces from cabinets that somebody is repairing cabinets in their kitchen. They would remove them, let's say, Monday morning. And by Tuesday, Monday evening, I'm going back home, and there it is again, 2 different mattresses, an old stove, an old fridge, an old wash machine, and it goes on and on. I drove around after the minister was out there, and he forgot to say that on Christmas morning, he was out with the garbage contractor giving directives as to where things had to be picked up.